Karen's voice boomed like a foghorn in the hospital corridor, demanding my wife surrender our newborn daughter. The sheer gall of this woman, sweaty, red-faced, and oozing entitlement, made my blood boil, but I held my tongue, knowing her reckoning was coming. It was supposed to be the happiest day of our lives. My wife, Emily, had just given birth to our daughter, Lily, after a grueling 18-hour labor. I'd been by her side, holding her hand, whispering encouragement, and marveling at her strength. Lily, all 6 pounds of her, was perfect, tiny fingers curling around mine, her soft coos filling the room. We were exhausted but elated, ready to start our new chapter as a family. Then Karen stormed in, a human hurricane in a floral muumuu, ready to ruin everything. Karen wasn't a stranger, though I wish she was. She was Emily's distant cousin, the kind of relative you avoid at reunions. Obese, loud, and perpetually aggrieved, Karen had a knack for turning every situation into a personal crusade. She'd once sued a coffee shop for serving her decaf instead of regular, claiming it violated her constitutional rights. Nobody invited her to the hospital, but Karen had a nose for drama. She'd shown up unannounced, claiming she was family and deserved to be there. The nurses, too polite to argue, let her linger. The trouble started when Karen overheard Emily talking to a nurse about our adoption plans. We'd been open about wanting to adopt in the future, inspired by my own childhood in foster care. I'd grown up bouncing between homes, never knowing stability until I joined the Navy at 18. Becoming a SEAL taught me discipline, resilience, and how to stay calm under pressure, skills I'd need today. Emily, with her boundless compassion, wanted to give a child the love we'd both lacked growing up. But Karen? She heard adoption and saw an opportunity. "You're not fit to raise that baby," Karen bellowed, her voice echoing off the sterile walls. Emily, still pale and weak from labor, flinched. I was in the corner, cradling Lily, when Karen's finger jabbed toward us. "You're talking about adopting? You can't even handle one kid. Give her to me. I'll raise her right." The room went silent. The nurses froze, their eyes darting between us. Emily's face crumpled, and I felt a primal rage surge in my chest. But I'm a SEAL. I don't react on impulse. I assess, plan, execute. Karen's logic, if you could call it that, was as warped as her worldview. She claimed she was more stable because she owned a house, bought with a settlement from a slip-and-fall lawsuit, and had life experience. Never mind that she lived alone, had no job, and spent her days harassing customer service reps. In her mind, Emily's exhaustion and my military background made us unfit parents. "You're always deployed," she sneered at me, ignoring the fact that I transitioned to a training role stateside. "And Emily's too soft. That baby needs a real mother." The audacity was staggering. I handed Lily to Emily, who clutched her protectively. "Karen," I said, my voice low and steady, "you need to leave." But Karen wasn't done. She stepped closer, her bulk blocking the light, and launched into a tirade about how we were selfish for keeping Lily when she could give her a better life. The nurses tried to intervene, but Karen shouted them down, claiming her rights as family. That's when she crossed a line nobody saw coming. "I'm calling my lawyer," she shrieked, pulling out her phone. "I'll have that baby taken away by tomorrow. You'll see." The threat hung in the air like a grenade. Emily started to cry, and Lily wailed, sensing her mother's distress. Something snapped in minute anger, but clarity. Karen didn't know who she was dealing with. I wasn't just a dad. I was a Navy SEAL with a law degree, a clearance level that gave me access to resources she couldn't imagine, and a network of brothers who'd move mountains for me. I stepped forward, locking eyes with Karen. "You're making a mistake," I said, my tone calm but laced with steel. She scoffed, assuming her bluster would win. "You can't scare me, soldier boy." That's when I smiled. Not a friendly Smilia predator's smile. "I'm not trying to scare you," I said. "I'm warning you." The next few hours were a masterclass in controlled chaos. While Karen ranted to anyone who'd listen, I made a call to an old SEAL buddy, now a lawyer with connections at the state level. Karen's threat to take Lily wasn't just empty, it was legally baseless, but I wasn't taking chances. My friend pulled records, and what we found was gold. Karen had a history of frivolous lawsuits, unpaid debts, and a restraining order from a neighbor she'd harassed. Her claim to stability was a house of cards. By the time Karen returned the next morning, smugly waving a legal document she'd printed off some shady website, I was ready. The hospital security team, briefed by my lawyer, escorted her to a meeting room where I waited with a folder of my own. "Karen," I said, sliding the folder across the table, "this is a cease and desist order, backed by evidence of your harassment history. You threaten my family again, and I'll file charges. I've got clearance to access databases you don't even know exist. I know every move you've made for the last 10 years. Her face went from red to ashen. "You can't do this," she sputtered. I leaned in, my voice barely above a whisper. "I'm a SEAL. I've done things you can't imagine to protect the people I love. Test me, and you'll lose everything." The room was silent except for her heavy breathing. She grabbed her bag and stormed out, muttering about injustice. The security team ensured she left the premises. But the story doesn't end with Karen's retreat. She didn't learn her lesson. A week later, she posted a rant on social media, painting herself as the victim and us as unfit parents. Big mistake. My lawyer had been monitoring her activity, and we hit her with a defamation suit. The evidence, hospital security footage, witness statements from the nurses, and her own unhinged posts buried her. The judge, unimpressed by her theatrics, ordered her to pay damages and issue a public apology. Her stable life unraveled. Her settlement money dried up, and her reputation in our small town was toast. Emily and I moved on, focusing on Lily. Every coup, every smile, reminded us what we were fighting for. Karen's hubris had cost her everything: her credibility, her money, her pride. We didn't gloat. We didn't need to. The universe, or maybe just good old-fashioned justice, had handled it. Lily's first birthday was a quiet affair, just us and a few close friends. As Emily sang to our daughter, I thought about Karen, probably alone in her cluttered house, stewing over her defeat. I didn't hate her. I pitied her. She'd built her life on tearing others down, never realizing the only person she was destroying was herself. That's the thing about karma: it doesn't need a SEAL to deliver it. It just needs time. The end.